Okay, welcome, Desecrator, to the Rock Goddesses. Please,
Hello,
hello, please introduce yourself and tell us a little more about you.
my name is Adrian, aka Desecrator. I'm the singer of Unholy Altar. Our band is a black metal band. We're predominantly based out of Philadelphia. We have one member that lives in New Jersey and then one that lives in New York that's moving to Philadelphia. Then we've been a band for about almost 3 years. Yeah, so that's my little background.
Nice. I'm happy for the person moving from New York to Philly. You're gonna have so much more money all of a sudden. It's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
this. You're gonna feel like a royal. Um, and 3 years. So did you guys start just after the pandemic?
Yeah, actually, I was playing in a punk kind of crust band called Regression originally. That was before the pandemic, and we only did like a demo, played a few shows, and then when the pandemic happened, that band kind of disappeared after that. And then I guess like kind of around when the pandemic was like popping off, that's when Unholy Altar started, and we kind of started like we had a different lineup and everything, and we just did like a few shows here and there, but it wasn't anything super major or anything. And then a little while later, we had some lineup changes, and now we're doing like a lot more stuff, like doing more shows and tours like that.
Awesome. You all have a very fun sample of your live shows on YouTube. Anybody who wants to see it, go to the link tree on Instagram to the YouTube group. And I love that you turned off the comments.
Well, there's
I
like,
I know why.
oh yeah, like it's like, so I mean, we have, got a lot of commentary on the band, a lot good, but a few bad here and there. And I mean, you know how it goes when you're a woman or someone that's not a man playing in a metal band, you get a lot of commentary,
Oh, yeah.
so um we had a lot of people blow us up on the internet like about, just kind of like sexualizing us a lot and being very misogynistic and things like that. And so I kind of am just like, you know what? Let's just like take the comments off of there, because like I just want people to hear the music and just like pay attention to the music. I don't
Yeah.
want people on there like, I don't know, commenting about the way we look and stuff. It's just like I like the way we look. I think it's cool, like wearing lingerie and like being like we have like non-binary members of the band. We have a man in the band, so it's like it's not an all-female band, but like just
Mhm.
because you have some women in the band, you're gonna get some kind of, oh, like we got one guy once being like, oh, women should be in the kitchen, not playing
Oh my
music.
God.
Uh,
Like not even inventive, dude. Come on.
it,
So
it I was like laughing at all these comments because it was like ridiculous, being
yeah.
like, oh, women in black metal shouldn't wear lingerie. And I'm like, meanwhile, there's like all these albums with dudes with like their dicks out and stuff. So
Mhm.
I'm okay, a little double standard going on here. But, people are just going to say what they're going to say. And that's not going to stop us from doing anything. I wear lingerie on stage because I find it empowering. I like wearing that kind of shit. And whether
Mhm.
people like it or not, that's their problem, but we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and let the haters hate.
Yeah, and they can hate in silence. I love that you took the keyboard away from the keyboard warrior.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to do it other places, but like YouTube, like that's our, channel on there. So I'd
Mhm.
rather not deal with it on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the whole look of the band is amazing. The corpse paint, the lingerie, the frowns, everything is so cohesive. I love it. I really need to catch one of your shows soon. It looks like super fun. And like, do other people attend in corpse paint as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that's actually like a lot of black metal shows. You'll see, a person or two with corpse paint or like war paint or something going on. And honestly, I'm like, that's a vibe. Like, do freak what you feel. Whatever you want to
Yeah.
dress show, that's cool with me. But yeah, we have had probably like at two of our shows people dress up in corpse paint, and I'm like, all right, I guess
I
you're like
love
really
it.
fan, you're like trying to be a part of it, and that's cool with me.
Yeah, I think that's like also like a really fun invitation to participate as an audience member when you're like excited to go see something like specifically in that genre. And like there isn't like a whole lot of opportunities in life to do that. So I love that you're creating one for everybody that wants to.
For sure.
Um, yeah, and the video is super good. I'm actually only sad that it wasn't the entire show and that it's like clips put together, like the montage, but it's very like intriguing and inviting, and I think it was a really good move.
Yeah. Well, also, June 15th, we're going to be recording an actual music video. So
Ooh.
it's gonna be a while till it comes out, but like, stay tuned for that. But it's going to be
Yeah.
pretty much in the woods, and we won't disclose the location, but we found a really cool abandoned church that we have visited
Ooh.
before. And it's very evil. There's like a huge cross that we're gonna like put upside down in the video, and it's gonna be really cool. So check that out when it comes out.
That sounds like so much fun. Um, okay, so when did you first realize that you loved rock or metal music? And maybe you can say a little bit about punk and black metal too. And when did you decide it was time for you to make music like this?
So I've been going to shows since I was like 12 or 13 years old. I grew up like in Florida and a little bit of Tennessee. So went to a lot of local shows, started out kind of like in the punk scene. And then I would also go to like metal shows and rock shows, all types of shows. But I, growing up kind of like near and around the Bible Belt area, I was like, I want to listen to the most evil, scary, like demonic music possible. So I got into metal because I was like, this is so like dark and like scary. Like I love it. So I just like kind of got into a mixture of music, but always punk and metal were like the heart of things. Those were always the genres that I liked the best. And I got really heavily influenced by singers like Dana Duffy from Demonic Christ, Wendy O of the Plasmatics, huge influence for me. Doro, as I'm sure you're a fan of, and Maria from, and I probably am pronouncing the band name wrong, but Astarte. It's like an
Oh yeah.
all girl
Mhm.
black metal band. Super huge influences. So like I would see those bands and I'd be like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a singer in like a metal band, and really loved black metal. So I'm like, let's go in that direction. And then also just like watching videos on like YouTube and stuff, like seeing
Mhm.
like old black metal music videos from like the 90s, like Satyricon and Immortal music videos. I was like, that's so cool. Like, I want to do the fake blood, the corpse paint, all that shit. It just looks so awesome to me. I'm like, I want to do, that's what I want to do.
Nice. So from the South, from Florida, from the Bible Belt, I need to put you in touch with a band called Antagonizer, also from
Oh,
Florida.
I like I think my drummer might know them, or like I'm friends with them on like Instagram or Facebook or something
Uh,
like that.
you guys should
Yeah.
play together.
Yeah,
Same,
that
same vibe, same like fuck these church people kind of energy. And then also you must know Pearls or April from Soul Grinder.
that sounds very familiar, possibly. I'm better with like faces than names, honestly, but
Well, she
perhaps.
seems to be your fan at least. So that's what I think is
Oh,
going on. But I think that you would really like what she's doing too. So
yeah.
I feel like that's a tour. Um, and yeah, and she's also playing bass in Hoaxed. Um, okay, next question. If your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about?
So for that, I would say probably like the movie would be about like going through like the dark, cold forest at night and like running into some kind of demonic entity or something like that, kind of like, I don't know, like a supernatural horror movie or something like that. So maybe something like involving like witches or something like that. I feel like the movie, what is it, The Witch or Witch with like the two V's, I feel like that would be like a really good movie for us, or like Blair Witch Project, like something like that, some creepy woods vibes kind of thing. Because like our lyrics are kind of like very much like about like death and darkness and hell and like occultism and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's definitely got to be a horror movie, but maybe some little supernatural stuff in there.
I just was thinking about like, what if we compiled the comments from the keyboard warriors into like a song? This is a side project I'm inventing with you right now.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm in, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the song and like the then the music video is just like dragging them all to hell. Anyway,
Oh,
so I got
or,
carried away. Carried
you know,
away. Okay, this sounds like a perfect setting for your music. We're in the woods, it's nighttime, people are scared. There are witches. It's
yeah.
supernatural. I love it.
That was
And who would be like the first victim in your movie?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, first victim, like just a random person. Like, who would be the first person to get killed? Oh man, I don't know. Just I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one.
Okay, that's all right. Who would be the big boss that you would battle at the end?
Big boss at the end.
Or what
I
would the
don't.
big boss battle be?
It could probably be like I don't know, someone like one of us like fighting some like I don't know, like some dude or something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody conquering somebody, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I like this answer. Some dude is fine for me.
Yeah,
Um,
any dude.
if you could collect any three vinyl records of all time, what would you like to have?
Okay, so like that is a tall order because there's so many records. I don't have a huge vinyl collection just because I've moved around a lot. I've had to sell things and shit like that. But like I would say like off of I'm just gonna pick some random ones I've had on like my Discogs wish list, of records that I want, like original pressings would be like sick. I would say so the quintessential album that like really like put black metal on the market for me would be Dark Throne Transylvania Hunger. That song, like when I heard that song, that's what like got me into the whole thing. I love all Dark Throne stuff, but that's just like the quintessential black metal album. So I would say that one. The other one I would say getting back into the punk influence would be 𝐸𝐸𝐵 No Sanctuary EP. I love my favorite genre of punk is like stenchcore kind of crusty stuff because it mixes in punk and metal together. So sorry, I keep getting notifications on my phone. So I would say that would be one of them. And I love 𝐸𝐸𝐵. That's like I have an 𝐸𝐸𝐵 tattoo. That's like a huge I've always loved 𝐸𝐸𝐵, so we'll put that on there. And then I guess the last one would be Gorgoroth, Sorcery Within Sorcery Written in Blood, the demo. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, black metal, like some of it sounds like it's recorded on like a Fisher Price like tape player or something. But I love that. Like I like anything that sounds like barbaric and like pure. Like it's just like,
Hmm.
okay, recorded this in like a basement or something, like not overproduced. So
Yes.
that's something I love, like bands when they have their first demo. I'm like, I love that. That was like what we were trying to go with our demo too. Like we recorded it literally like in our basement in our house that's
Mhm.
like moldy and disgusting. And I'm like, chef's kiss.
Billy.
Like all probably got mold poisoning, but it's like, then we're all like delusional. It makes the album even better. So
Mhm.
but yeah, I think that's sick. And like any kind of black metal demo that's kind of recorded shittily, like sign me up. I'm down to listen to it.
Yeah, there is a band called Star Driver that has just a couple clips that I think actually are only on Instagram. And I interviewed the singer. I was like, what did you do for recording and production? Because this has the real like old 80s sound. She's like, I recorded on my phone during practice. And I was like, it worked perfectly. Like
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be um oh, I'm trying to think. Like this like radio rock sound like I can't think of the name of the band. But anyway, it's a band on the radio. So it's not supposed to sound like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Especially the genre we play, like raw black metal, it's like in the name. Like we're specifically making it sound like it's raw. You got some feedback in the background. It's not overly produced because I mean, there are some bands I like that are obviously like bigger black metal bands that are going to have like very good production and they pay a lot of money to get these albums out and everything. But it's like for us, I'm just like, I don't know. It's more about like the vibe of the album than like, I don't know, how well it was done or something like that. If that makes any sense.
It does. And there's two good points about it. It's one, this is like what the bands, all bands in every genre sound more like live because you don't have total control over sound in any venue anywhere.
Yeah.
And oh shoot, I forgot my other point. But do you ever listen to Fenriz's podcast? The Norwegian.
No, I haven't. I've listened to podcasts that he's been on, but I've never listened to his directly. But I love Fenrez, so I'm like anything he does is like gold. So I'll have to check that out.
So he's a mailman. I guess he's been a mailman since the 80s. And so he has like a lot of time to listen to new music.
That rules. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so he has like a podcast where he features like brand new music, and he's got a new episode coming out on Thursday. My single's in it. And
Oh, awesome.
sorry I had to.
A plug, you know.
Plug for Fenris. Anyway.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh, now I remember the other point about raw black metal. I think it has a relationship to your roots in the DIY punk scene.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, because like we've got a lot of people that have kind of like dogged on us for like some of the band members we do have more of a metal background, like, but then some of the members we have more of a punk background. Like the three of us that originally started the band, we all started in punk bands and stuff, but I honestly see that as like that could be a gateway into metal. I don't think punk and metal are like so far apart from each other. And I know a lot of famous metal musicians that they started out in punk or they liked a lot of punk music. So I don't really see that, but I know a lot of people, they'll be like, well, you didn't start in metal, so we don't care, you know? But I'm like, but I've always liked metal. It's just I've had a really huge punk background too. That's what I first got into. You know, will go to punk shows all the time and didn't mean I didn't like metal. It just meant I was just into that scene, you know? I might have had a middle one point, but that doesn't mean I didn't like Dark Throne or something, you know?
Yeah, and that's just a very silly, closed-minded way to act about music. There should always be blends of genres. That's innovation. That's like how cultural exchange works. And like being a purist is like kind of weird.
It
So
does. There's a lot of that in this genre, you know, which I don't know. It's like I understand, like I understand that like you're the genre you're into, you want it to be the way that it is forever. I get it, but I'm like, I don't know. I think that black metal has taken like a really good direction. It's a lot more open and a lot more less like, okay, it has to be all these types of people playing the music, you know, all different types of people play black metal now, which I fucking love. But I know some other people are like, no, 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 it can only be men playing this type of music. I'm like, okay, whatever you want to think, but that's not true. That's not accurate. You know?
yeah, is this like a Greek bathhouse or something?
Right. It's like, okay, times are changing. It's like, let's get you to bed, grandpa, you know?
Yeah. That was so silly. Yeah, and plus like I don't know, this whole channel I want to listen to black metal in the winter, in the snowstorm. Like there's a season when I really want to hear it. And then when I'm on a boat in the summer or a jet ski, I want to listen to glam metal. And like I have a range of taste in music. And so that's why this is like under the umbrella of rock, because I really wanted to like not have like a narrow scope or like play games about like what's true or whatever. Blech.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're on a world tour. Who are the three bands that you're on tour with, and what festival are you guys going to go to for the big blowout at the end?
Okay. So, you know, and I'm just going to pick some random bands that I know are still like available and doing stuff because I mean, there's like a ton of bands that I'm like, oh my God, I would love to play with this band. But off the top of my head, I would say the three bands that I would love to go on tour with would be like Emperor, Abbot, and Sabat, however it's pronounced. Those three bands would be super fucking cool. Abbot would be cool because it's like, oh, you know, like he's very funny, and I feel like that would get like we're all very funny people in the band, so I feel like he would get along really well with us. But yeah, and then I guess for like as for festivals where we would like love to play. So our bassist actually was in Japan for that Nuclear War Now Hospital Fest. and it seemed like it had some really amazing bands on the lineup, and I've always wanted to go to Japan, so I feel like that would be like super super cool to play. And it was like it's all like black metal, some like war metal and death metal, but
Mhm.
would love to play that. And then like other than that, I would just say kind of like a fest in Europe, like a black metal fest in Europe. You just kind of have to watch with some of the fests because you know you can get some sketchy bands on there, but
Oh, okay.
like pretty checks out pretty good. Like we're down. Like that would be really awesome. Because I mean, you know, I would just love to play in Europe. I travel there all the time, so I'm like, okay, let's get a band thing going over there. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a big audience for your music in Finland, for example, Norway,
Of
Scandinavia.
course. Yeah, I went
Uh,
over years ago and it was super awesome. And I was like, I would love to come back here again to play this time, you know?
mhm. Yeah, and hmm, have you heard of Cap Punk in Japan too? The punk festival?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm not really into punk music, like I'm no aficionado for sure, but I did end up going to that in Japan just totally by chance. That was fun. I would
No,
like to
yeah.
see you there. Um, okay. Deeper, looking back on all the creative things you've been up to and life, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
So I would say, and I know that this isn't like a huge decision and it's not like a huge leap or anything, but honestly, I would probably say like getting a second guitarist. So, you know, our original lineup, we had kind of a weird lineup where it was like we had two guitarists, a drummer, and a singer, no bassist. And then we ended up now we have a bassist, two guitarists, a drummer, and a singer. And that dynamic just like works so well for us. It gives
Hmm.
so much like layers, more layers. And the songwriting process has been a lot better since we've had the guitarist join the band. He joined in like, I want to say it was like December of last year. And honestly, it's been like going all the way up from there because it's like the music sounds better. Like we've been able to write more riffs, been inspired to write more music. He helps out with like, obviously he's writing music for the band and everything. So, which is awesome because we were kind of just being like, okay, we need a little pizzazz, you know, we need a little
Mhm.
bit of in the band, and that really like took us to the next level. So I would say that was like a really good decision we made. And like our bassist and guitarist, they're like really super good friends of ours, so it's just really sick to have them in the band because they like make the band sound better and they're like super cool people. So I don't know, it's good all the way around, you know.
I love it. It sounds like you have a great dynamic for going like as far as you want to go.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a wonderful thing to have. Um, what's your favorite stage wear and your favorite gear?
Okay, so gear wise, I would say if we're talking about like hardware, my vocal processor, I have a TC Helicon Voice Live Play. It's like the little blue box or big blue box rather, but I use that. I can't not go on stage without it. Like I hate clean vocals, and I'm not saying like oh I just like turn my vocals into completely something else, but like when you're screaming, it like helps so much if you have reverb, delay, distortion, something going on with it, which I put like all that shit on my vocals. So that's really been like a game changer for me because when I first started playing, I had this like reverb off the amp or the PA, and it did not sound good. And then put that vocal processor on there, and it just like, oh, it sounds so good. Also, my voice, like when it gets strained, because you know you're screaming, you're gonna get vocal strain. It helps give it a little bit of a push so that your volumes are going up a little bit more, your like levels are up a little bit. So I don't know, it just helps out a lot with being a vocalist. I feel like there's if you're doing like especially like black metal or death metal vocals, you absolutely have to have even just like a pedal on your vocals. Like I mean, if you can do clean vocals without any kind of pedal, like good for you. Like that's awesome. But for me personally, I'm like, I have to have this vocal processor. So
Mm,
every it's there, you know?
yeah.
Um, but as for, I guess, like stage wear, okay, so like if you're in a black metal band, I feel like it's quintessential that you wear gauntlets. Like there is like no way around that. I mean, like we have band members, like our drummer can't always wear like gauntlets because, you know, it's like they're playing
Mhm.
drums, stuff like that. But for me, the singer, I wouldn't want to go on stage without gauntlets. I feel like it would look really weird. And then like, you know,
Go
the
to the
tip
show.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, you don't have to. There's a lot of like, I'm sure Mayhem, they didn't have freaking gauntlets when they went on stage and stuff. But like for me, that's just like, we're a very visual band. Like, we love the visuals. We got all the stuff on stage, like the bones, the fake blood, the candles, all that. So I'm like, that just comes with the territory. You got to do the gauntlets, you know? So I would say that. And like, I wear a lot of like, we wear like chainmail, leather, latex, like all that stuff we'll wear on stage, even though it's hot as hell. I'm burning up there. I still do it anyway. I do it for the show, you know? So I wear like these like kind of latexy type pants, and those are like, I wear those all the time. So I would say like the gauntlets and the latex pants would be like obviously my go-to on stage. And then I'll throw a bullet belt in there every once in a while. And that's also very black metal, is to wear a bullet belt, you know, especially like across the chest, which I have to do next time. I usually just wear it around my waist, but yeah. So I guess that's pretty much my favorite stage wear would be like gauntlets and latex.
I feel like people watching this, if you have a recommendation on latex pants that are more breathable for stage wear, let us know in the comments.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been wearing like these kind that they're like a rip off like latex pants, but they look exactly like latex. And I'm just like, oh my God, like my legs are just like all sweaty after I'm done playing. And you know, I need to get like, honestly, we need to get a fan situation going on stage where it's like my hair's blowing. It's cool, like it looks cool, but then it's also like, I don't know, you know, you're jumping around, you're crawling around,
Yeah.
you're like in your arms and shit. You're gonna get hot, you know?
Yes.
So
I've
that's
never
what
seen anybody like not get sweaty. That would be, I
what
mean,
men if they get sweaty on stage. Because I mean, if they're just standing there, but I'm like a very active singer.
yes.
I'm crawling around, I'm like getting into the audience. Sometimes I'll push people. I try not to, but sometimes right, I'm like okay, you know, I'm gonna jump in there and see what's up, you know. Definitely yeah, would have to do a fan situation at some point. We did that at one of our shows and it worked. And then we played Miami recently, and it was like over 100 degrees out there, and it was, and the guy was like, oh yeah, there'll be AC in here. There was not AC. There was like one little fan. And I was like, oh. So I was like just like drenched in sweat, just like, and the corpse paint was just like melted off. And I'm like, doesn't look right, but oh well, you know, it is what it is.
It's kind of sci-fi. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like so that's, I guess, another stage wear thing you were saying, like, you know, your quintessential, like your stage wear is like corpse paint. Like, I do not go on stage without corpse paint. I've seen a lot of bands. There's a couple bands that do that where they'll start out a corpse paint band and then they stop wearing corpse paint, or they just do the war paint and stuff. But I'm like, just like all the black eye makeup and stuff. But I'm like, no, we got to do the corpse paint. I had actually one person once when we first started out. He was like, don't do corpse paint. Just go on stage like as is. Don't do corpse. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Are you in the band? Like, what what kind of advice is that? I was like, no, dude. Like, we're doing the corpse paint. Like, it's just it. I don't know. It brings to like the ambiance of the band, because it's like kind of scary a little bit. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of a weird comment to make. You
It
know?
is a weird comment. Men don't need to have opinions. And I also think that it's like adds some mystery to like the people on stage.
Yeah.
Or like uh Larissa from Stainless in Portland, she does like a big like cool star on her face that's blue and glittery, and it just like
Oh, I love that.
transforms her into like a different person. And it's the same thing like even with Kiss glam rock, right? But it's like
Love,
once they take off their paint, then you're kind of like, oh, put that paint back on.
yeah.
It's like they
I mean,
waited.
that's
Go ahead.
yeah, like that makes sense, because it's like definitely when I get on stage, I kind of feel like I'm like, it's like a different personality that gets on stage, because I'm like normally in person, you know, I'm just like the way that I am, but then like when I get on stage, a lot more feral,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm trying to like growl at the audience and get them a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, tiny bit scared, you know. So I'm like, I think that's why it's important to have some kind of makeup on, because me getting on stage growling at people are not going to be like, they're just going to be like, oh, there's a girl on stage growling, you know. But if I have the corpse paint, it adds an extra layer to what's already going on, you know.
Totally. And this brings up Soul Grinder again. I want you to check out what April Prilzor does with her face paint. It's kind of like um a like nuclear King Diamond face paint look.
Oh, I love
Like
that.
if like King Diamond fell into a vat of nuclear waste.
That sounds awesome. I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, you guys are going to be best friends. So
Cool.
all this leads into what's a or what's a performance that you'll never forget?
So I guess for that, so it's like, are we talking about mortifying or like epic? Because
You can
there's a
tell
lot
two. You can tell as
of
many as you want.
I I feel like we've done that in like a million interviews talked about. So I'll just go with the like the epic stuff. So like I would say like honestly the main thing that would like stand out for me was us playing Eric Andre's birthday. Our drummer got us hooked up with that show. And I was like, even when we actually got on the bill, because we were going back and forth emailing for a while with that show, I was like, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, that was so cool for me because we're all really big fans. Our drummer kind of knows Eric Andre a little bit. They kind of were in the same scene together. They grew up in the same area. So yeah, we were just like, I can't believe we're doing this. And we actually had to, I feel bad, but we kind of had to like ditch another show to play that show. But we ended up doing it was in Queens. I think the place I forget it's called like Knockout Center or something. But I think a lot of people weren't expecting us. Like it was all like electronic bands and kind of noise and stuff. And then we got on stage and everyone was like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening? But
Yes.
it was like one of our better shows, maybe in the top 5. The sound was like fucking amazing. And then we still get people to this day coming up to us being like, did you play Eric Andre's birthday? I'm like, yeah, we did, but
Yeah.
yeah, and we didn't get to meet him though. That was the only thing. A lot of people asked if we got to meet him, but we FaceTimed him. So it's
Hmm.
like met him, but didn't physically meet him. And I'm like, I'm sure there'll be other times. I mean, he had another birthday somewhere else, like I think Louisiana or something, New
Hmm.
Orleans. So I'm maybe at some point we'll cross paths again. But I just thought that was super fun. That was like something that I will always like be very like a huge highlight for the band. I mean, I know it's like he likes like metal. That's the thing is Eric Andre, he likes like metal and punk and all kinds of genres. So he was like totally like, yeah, that's awesome. Definitely have your band like play at my birthday. I was like, hell yeah. So that was like really fun.
That's so great Gatsby of him to like throw a party and like then like not be present while the bands play.
Yeah, like way later. So like he was there, but like I forget what happened. I think one of our band members had to work like really, or I think it was on like I can't remember what day it was, but pretty sure our band member had to work early. So, New York's like a little hop and a skip away. So they had to like leave. And then once they left, Andre like came out and like made his appearance and stuff. I was like, oh damn it, we could have just hung out, but it's
Aw.
okay. We
Well,
did
that's amazing.
make our appearance there. We were there, so.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Okay. So do you have any new announcements for us?
Oh yeah, so we have an extremely busy summer coming up. July, a bunch of stuff is coming up. So I would say, so July 5th, we have our LP coming out, like our first LP, and we actually have pre-orders up right now for that LP. It's being released on our guitarist, his record label, Liminal Dread. So you can check that out, get the pre-order. I think one of the songs is up on Bandcamp right now, so you can check it out. Just one on there, just like a little teaser.
Mhm.
Um, and we have also a demo on Bandcamp as well. But yeah, the new album is going to be like fucking sick. So we're excited about that. We've been working really hard on that album too. It took a really long time to get that album out. So there's that. Also, we go on tour towards the end of July. It's basically like we're doing like 2 small tours that are almost like combined into one big tour because we go out to the West Coast. We're going to play Begotten Fest in Washington State. And then we're going to play Portland at Blackwater. And then we kind of come home for like 3 days. Then we do a New England tour, which is like Maine, Mass, and Connecticut. And then I think there's like 2 weeks after that, we do like another little mini tour, but it's mostly like some more East Coast dates. So yeah, that's like, we're going to be super busy. And then, next month we have like a music video we're going to be recording. So it's like, oh my God, so many summer plans. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And those little mini tours sound so much comfier than like one big thing. Like
Yeah.
having some breaks in there, going home in your own bed, taking a shower.
We want to do like a California date on that West Coast tour because we got a bunch of people hitting us up like, oh, I can hook you up with a California date, but like we all have weird work schedules, so it's like I only had like a certain amount of time I could take off of work. It's like I do have a job outside of the band, so
Hmm.
it's like I had to just like take what time I could to go do that little tour. So I think it's like good that we're getting like that little break, especially like that's gonna be our first time on the West Coast. I mean, I've been out there before, but not like band related stuff. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be really fun playing out there. The Begotten Fest is like in like the woods. So we might be camping afterwards too, which will be like super
Fun.
but it's like in the middle of nowhere where it's like in the like in Washington, like just in the woods. So I don't know. It's gonna be super fun. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
big things we have lined up.
Washington is a beautiful place to camp. I used to live in Seattle and like the rivers and everything out there. And you're gonna have so much fun in Portland. I don't know. That's your first show as a band in Portland, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the Begotten Fest is first, and then we'll play Portland. And yeah, that's we've never been on the West Coast before, so that's yeah, it's gonna be a first time for us. I've been out there before, and I've actually been to that venue before, and I have a couple of friends out there that are gonna like come out for the show. But
Yeah. I was
we
gonna
plan-
say, I feel like you're gonna have a really warm reception in Portland. I think
yeah,
you could like love what you guys are doing.
I'm totally.
So
I love those, so I'm like so excited to go out there. I'm just like getting everything together has been like very nerve wracking because I mean we've had to travel before to play shows, like fly out places, but this is like that's across the
mhm, mhm.
pond, you know? So it's like, I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting.
You're gonna have so much fun. Okay, so where can everybody listen to your music and follow what you do?
So I guess what you can do is we have obviously Bandcamp, and like I was saying, the demos on there, our LP is gonna be on there. You can go on our Instagram, which I believe it's just Unholy Altar, but I think you have to put a period in the middle, say like unholy.altar. We have a YouTube page. I'm not super active on there, but like sometimes we'll post video clips and stuff like that on there. Also Facebook as well, but that one's also not as active. I would say the two main spots would be like Instagram and Bandcamp. And then yeah, so you can find us on there. The Bandcamp, obviously, I think it's like Unholy Altar 666 or something along the lines, something evil like that, you know. So find us on there, and that's where you can listen to us.
Amazing. Okay, so and I'm also gonna put the links to those things in the show notes, so it'll be easy for people to click. All right, we're gonna play the vinyl game. If you've seen any episodes before, you know how to play it. I'm gonna hold up two pieces of vinyl and you pick one to talk about, and it's just to like chat about what's out there. So Coven or Hoax?
So I would say Coven because I have seen them live. I did see them when they played in Philly. Amazing. I love Jinx as a singer, right?
Yeah,
She's the best. Also, like she is so good looking for her age. I'm like, did you drink from the fountain of youth or something? Their music,
she's drinking blood for sure.
I love the imagery. I love the band. I think it's just so great because I'm like, it's totally like, I don't know if you consider their music kind of in that realm, but it's like Black Sabbath with like a girl singer, you know?
Oh, well, there's a great story behind that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So Jinx was touring with Coven in 1967. So very early. And that was when the Manson murders happened in California where she was. Her album was pulled from circulation. And so in the UK, there was this band called the Polka Tulk Blues Band, and their singer, so the first track on this album is Black Sabbath, and their bassist's name was Oz Osborne in Coven. So the singer of the Polka Tulk Blues Band changed his name to Ozzy Osbourne, and he changed his band name to Black Sabbath, and then they started doing satanic rock music.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. It's an awesome story.
Yeah, and Jinx, while she was on tour in 67, she was doing the devil horns.
Yeah.
She has a long family history of satanic worship in her family, and they had like a satanic library in her grandfather's house. So she had this other friend named Ronald, and they would drink at the Rainbow Bar in LA. And then one day he was like, I'm going to start a band. I'm going to name it after this bar. I'm going to call it Rainbow. And then when he started going on tour, he was friends with Jinx and everything. He started doing it too. But at first, when Jinx was doing this, he was in a band called Elf and he played bass. So he couldn't do this,
Yeah.
Ronnie. James Dio.
Whoa. That's awesome. I think I watched it recently. I love it. Love, Dio, fucking amazing. Our drummer like fucking loves Dio too. So if you talk to them about, they just like go on and on forever about it. But yeah,
Oh
hell
my
yeah.
gosh. Hell yeah. Okay, so LA Witch or Pat Benatar?
Ooh, okay. So LA Witch, they're like a newer band, right? Is that
Yes. Yes.
I've heard both of those bands. Honestly, that's a huge tie up because I really like both of those bands. And Pat Benatar is like, I just love like 80s music. Um, Honestly, okay, I'm just gonna have to say I'm gonna say Pat Benatar only because I don't know that much about LA Witch. I would have to I'm gonna have to listen to it a little bit more, but
Yeah.
that's the 80s, I freaking love the 80s, so I
Yeah.
love her.
LA Witch, it's doomy and a little bit it has like a punk element to it. Almost like I can't think of the name right now, but it's got like almost a punk element to it in some of the like ways that they introduce songs, like some of their intros and the vocals, but it's doomy. And then Pat Benatar, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because she didn't want to be entered without her husband.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. Patti Smith or Cher?
Oh my God. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be really hard because Cher is like a queen. We love a Taurus queen. She is amazing. I love Patti Smith. She did so much for like the punk scene and everything like that. Sorry, Patty, I'm gonna have to go with Cher.
Okay, she's choosing the cat instead of the dove. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that. I had done that, but yes, Cher, and this is like Cher's like witchy album anyway, with Dark Lady on it about the gypsy home wrecker. In
Yeah.
Cher's words, okay? Cher was using that old language.
Right.
So Joan Jett or Stevie Nicks?
Another one. Another.
I tried to make it hard.
I love Fleetwood Mac. Love Stevie Nicks. A classic like witchy vibes. But Joan Jett is like definitely when I started like listening to like rock music, she was like definitely a big one for me. I That's hard. I guess Joan Jett. Sorry, Steve.
So
Yeah.
when Joan Jett left the Runaways, I think she got rejected from labels. It was tens of times. It was either like 32 times or 52 times, and she just didn't quit. Isn't that so inspiring?
That is. It really is.
I can't remember the exact number, but it was tens of labels. Oh, she is an inspiration. Okay. And then Grace Slick or Sweat from Pittsburgh.
I have not heard of Sweat before, so I'm gonna have to go with Grace Slick, because I do like, yes, vibes, and also the album cover. It's like, look at that, amazing.
Oh, what's this crystal ball doing?
Yeah.
I like for some reason in the late 70s, everybody was wearing their silky nighties, like that Cher album cover, Stevie Nicks, this cover with Grace Slick. Very vampiric. And also
Yeah.
this album has Angel of the Night on it, which was recorded in 1979. So it's like a very early, I think it's a heavy metal song. A lot of people agree with that. So it's like possibly the first female fronted heavy metal song, Angel of the Night by Grace Slick.
Hell yeah.
And um, so Sweat in Pittsburgh, new band and mostly American musicians, but also a Swiss American. And this is a very unique band. They are kind of like maybe Rush. Female drummer, female keyboardist who is also the singer. I guess you could say it's like Rush. It's hard to put them in a box. It's proggy, prog rock.
They're like a newer Pittsburgh band.
They are a newer Pittsburgh band. They have a show, I think it's June 7th. So it's next week. I'm
I
trying
lived
to go.
Yeah, I lived in Pittsburgh for like a long time. That's why I'm like, I wonder why that doesn't ring a bell, but I haven't lived there for like a little bit now, so maybe.
They're really new. This album's 2023.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That sounds awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to check them out.
New music for the playlists. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Desecrator. There's so many other ways I could say that. That would be so fun.
For sure.
Desecrator. All right. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll be able to catch one of your shows soon.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.